Welcome, everybody. Can you hear the cryings in your soul? There's more than one. It's up to you to choose who you feed tonight. Today we are going to be reading a story called Unconditional Love. My husband and I bought this house to get away from the city. We have 12 bedrooms, a beautiful vast greenhouse, and a space where we live freely and peacefully. We have a little boy. He takes after his kind and loving father. The three of us, with our cook and gardener, lived a life that is separated from the world. When my son was about 8, a war broke out. My husband had been called in to serve as a field doctor. I didn't know why, but I had a gut feeling that if I let him go, we would never see him again. And I was right. I took the letter, and even without opening it, I knew what it said. I stood there with my head down as the man left on his horse. I turned around as I heard my child playing and laughing wholeheartedly by the roses. It was rough at the beginning, but we were able to live as though the war never happened. My son grew up to be a fine young man. A man who would never be soiled with the dirt that were the peasants outside. As I stirred the boiling pot of stew, the gardener came to me and whispered in my ear, "We have a problem." I followed her to the greenhouse and saw that a whole lot of our plants had wilted. We wouldn't be able to last that winter. For the time being, I told her to go back to the kitchen and start rationing the food. My boy got the same amount, while the three of us would have had ours lessened. What do? I say to myself. Unlike my husband, I wasn't raised to be educated. All I had to be was a perfect wife and a good mother. I became so lost in my thoughts that I bit my nails too hard that my teeth dug deep into my skin and blood gushed out. The sun is beginning to set, and I'm getting irritated, so I decide to go back in. I got out of bed and opened the door. The shocked face of our gardener said everything. The spot where my blood had soiled has a tiny leaf sprouting from it. It couldn't possibly be. I went in to take a closer look, and it was as real as it could be. To test it out once again, I went to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and picked a spot by the corner. My bright red blood dripped onto the ground as if it was meant to be. Just like a bright red ruby shining in a dark sky, I saw a glitter of hope. Here you go. I'm feeding my son my own blood. I panicked as I stared at my bloody hand. I suddenly felt a tug at my chest. "Are you okay?" the cook asked. A sense of desperation came over me. "For my son." I stabbed her in the chest. The gardener started to scream. I pulled out my knife and slit her throat. I quietly went across the hall. I saw the cook cowering in a corner, his legs tucked in his arms, shaking. He averted his eyes. I quickly covered his mouth and continued to stab multiple times in his stomach. It wouldn't do if the blood is wasted here. Without a time to lose, I dragged the two bodies to the greenhouse. I drained the blood onto the ground. I chopped them up nicely and crushed their bones. I stared coldly at the remains. Their lifeless eyes glared back at me, as if telling me that I have done a horrible deed. If it's for my boy, I will do anything. Anything. I woke up to the silence of the house. My son, who should be awake by then, should have been desperately trying to find them. That's weird. I take my robe and wrap myself in it, as it was an unusually chilly morning. Where did he go? I run towards the kitchen when the slightly open gate catches my eye through the window. I run as fast as I could. Mom. A hand stops me and I turn around to see my boy standing perfectly fine. Come have some breakfast. His hand is warm, but his eyes seem cold. I sit with my hands clasped together, patiently waiting for a chance to start up a conversation. I went to the greenhouse this morning. I never realized how hard you all must have been working till now. I would like to help. Before I could utter a reaction, tonight, he leaves a bowl of salad with a very ominous red dressing glazed on top and disappears into the hallway. For what seems like an eternity, I sit on my chair thinking. I look out the window and I see a faint light by the greenhouse. Assuming that my boy is waiting, I decided to go. The air surrounding him feels thick and heavy. He is digging a bunch of holes in the ground, about a few meters deep. He doesn't stop even as I call out to him. I stand by the doorway, unable to move an inch, from the fear of what my boy has planned. I stare at him for what seems like an eternity. Finally, he puts the shovel down, heads to the tool shed, and slowly grabs a butcher knife. If it's for my son. I walk towards one of the holes, open my arms wide, and close my eyes. I couldn't feel anything. This must be what it feels like to be killed by someone you love. I open my eyes and I see blood gushing out. I move my hand around my body, but there was nothing. I look up and check the hole in front of me. My boy is stabbing himself. Mom, I love you. He gave me one last look before he went limp and started to fall into the hole. Hello everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys had an awesome Christmas and hopefully a more awesome upcoming New Year. Yeah. So this story's theme is unconditional love. If you've ever felt this type of love feeling ever, if you would like to, please let us know down below in the comment section. We will be very, very happy to read them. And yeah, if you would like to support this channel, please click the like and subscribe button down below, and hopefully we will see you every week. Bye!